Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Plasma, and boy do I have the video for you today. So if you can see here, I've got some mining boards, but this is something special. This is something I invented. I've finally been finishing it. I've been working on it. I finally got it done and it's ready for you guys to look at. So this is an improvement on the existing tunnel bores. So the tunnel bores, or mining bores, give you the ability to mine into the wall using a TNT duplicator, and it's great and all, but diamonds are still really hard to find, and it takes you time to go back to the note block to be able to move it forward one block, and then you have to come over here and check, make sure there's no diamonds so you don't blow them up before you go again. Well, not any longer. With this little piece I've added, now you're able to sit here and watch for diamonds while you push the button, and so there's no more going back and forth. There's two of them, so we're cutting almost a whole chunk wide through the layer, and so we can just sit here and go. And we'll go again. And again. And again. Seriously, folks, I could do this all day. This is so much more efficient and so much faster at finding diamonds. I haven't even picked them up at all because I'm in creative, but if this were in survival, and I'll show you right now what's wrong with the typical one, so let's jump over to my survival world. It's good to be home again. So let's go down to the mines. So if you'll come with me, we're going to take a look at my mining bore as it exists in real life. Real life survival. No creative mode cheats here, folks. So I mined all the way down to here. I'm hungry. And we did this. We came all the way down to the negative 50s, I believe. Negative 51, 52 or so. And so I dug all of this out by using my tunnel bore. So I actually, you know what? I forgot I got my elytra. It's gonna make things so much easier. Oop, we ran out of chunk loading. Well, that's awkward. There we go. I'm using a custom data pack, so the terrain generation is a little bit different, and so it might be slowing down a little bit, but that's okay. So here we are. So this is the mining bore. I think I've got it disabled right now, and I do. I would have netherite right here, or ancient debris right here, but I've removed it, and the reason why I've removed it is because I only had 3 at the time, and I went to the nether to get some more. Don't have some on me. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit this right here, and it's going to go like that. Now, putting aside that we just got bumped, so what this does is it requires you to come back here to push this. And the problem is you have to come over here and check to see whether there's diamonds. I'll clean this up later. So you can see how that can be such a pain to have to come back and push that and see that. And so it's not quite that practical. Well, now with the other one, we're able to just tap here and then watch and tap here and tap here and tap here. And it's double wide. I'm really happy with it. So let's dissect it. In case you couldn't tell, I like tunnels. So there's actually a lot of different parts that this needs. So this is what you're going to need to build it. This is quite the list, but it should be easy enough for you to acquire. You might have to go to a warm biome to be able to get some dead coral fans. As long as it's a fan, doesn't matter which type it is. And you can actually choose what you want for these blocks. This one doesn't matter. This could be Slimer Honey. This one could be Slimer Honey. And so could the other one. And so let's dissect it. This is a TNT duplicator. It's very simple premise. Essentially what you will do is you will put this on the block next to it, and you will push it in so that this TNT is primed. So you put a minecart on it and then push this rail in, and we'll show you when we build it, and that will prime it. So that's very simple. I will put a link in the description to a video on a basic mining board if you've never built one before. So this is the TNT runway. What's going to happen is this is going to be up against here, and this is just going to push along. And so when the TNT is knocked forward, it's going to slide down this length and stop right here on the end. This gets it far enough away that you can't destroy anything. You have to use either these or netherite, which is arguably far more expensive. And these you can use to prevent it from blowing it up. And so these are actually a necessary part of mining ore that made it possible. So the next bit is the back, how we're going to move it. The shoulder or spine of it is going to be 8 slime blocks across, and we're going to have it so that these are honey and these are slime, so this can touch up against it without them having any issues. So what's going to happen is it's going to come up against it, and then this is going to push it 1 block forward again. And so this is what a completed one looks like. And so the next 2 pieces are the ones that I came up with. They're these 2 in the middle right here. So we've got a rear engine and then a forward steering. And so what's going to happen is when you push this note block, this piston is going to fire, and it's going to push this forward, and it's going to cause this to send a signal to this piston, which is going to send this piston out to grab and pull this forward, which is going to pull this forward, which is going to cause a block update, which is going to cause it to push it again, causing this whole section to move forward 1 block. And when that whole section moves forward 1 block, this observer is going to move up, and it's going to hit this piston and cause this piston to push on this. And so that's how it's going to work. So let's see it in action. This one is wired up and ready to go. Hopefully we don't destroy the back of our build right here. It's that simple. All right, I'll give you one last look at it. So with this rear engine, we're going to have a block that comes down like this. We're going to have an observer that's looking away. On this, we're going to set this up. Now, when you put these together, you need to put the redstone blocks on last. Otherwise, it's going to cause this to trigger. You don't want it to do that. And so it won't do that if you put the redstone block on last. It's butted right now. Similar will be true for this, but ultimately what you're going to do is you're going to put the note block on. And when you do put this on, it's going to fire anyway because it's going to update the note block, and that's going to be your first round. And so if you're new to building these, what I recommend is that you build this section, the forward steering, and the rear engine that I came up with this spine first. And once you know that it works, you come forward enough blocks and then build your TNT duplicators, and you just hit this button until these get closer and closer and ease up into it, and then they connect. And that's going to prevent it from being too close. It will prevent you from having any problems, and this should go fairly smoothly for you on the first try. That's the hope anyway. All right, so let's get started building one. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do in survival is to build it out. You're going to want to dig out a little bit so that you have room to actually build your tunnel bore. You're going to put these slime blocks, you're going to have 8 of them like this. And this is, you're only going to need to have a 1 block gap around pretty much everything. And then once you get it built, make sure there's no close blocks to it that aren't going to be blown up by the TNT. But beyond that, that's all you're going to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these here. We're going to put observers here. Like that. And then we are going to pick one of the middle blocks, whichever one you want to use, and we are going to place a piston on the end. We're going to butt it like that. I'm going to put another redstone block like that. I'm going to put a honey block under here. We're going to put an observer here, here. And then we are going to have a piston that is directly in between the 2. It's floating 1 block here and 1 block there. So that's all you've got to do for that. And then what you need to do to cause it to be fully functional is to put an observer, and you don't want to break a block in front of it, so do it like that. You're going to want to have an observer here. So now, if we put this here and push it back and forth, that's our whole system. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to put the note block here. And there you go. You see that? It's pretty straightforward. So now let's build our TNT. So our TNT duplicator is going to be like this. And then we're going to go 2 underneath. We're going to put a cobblestone wall and an observer facing it. We're going to put a dead coral fan of some type on top of it. And after that, you can put either slime block on top of that and then a slab right there. And whatever block you want can go right here. It's common to use a shroom light because it gives you light. So what you want to do is you want to put this here. But the problem with this is that you're going to have the TNT already primed, and you don't want to do that. So what you want to do is you want to put the TNT down first, and you want to put this on the side. I've got it on a shortcut here. Here we go. And what you're going to do is you're going to push this in. And by pushing it in, you set a piston here, and you go push, and it buds it, but it doesn't blow up the TNT. So now, every time it goes forward, it's going to kick a TNT forward, like that. That went really far. Now, what you're going to add here is going to be a piston that it moves and hits, another piston that's going to pull it afterward, and then you're going to go 2 blocks, put whatever block you want, recommend a shroom light, and then with that, you're going to point an observer at it. And that's going to cause this one. Whenever the whole thing slides, it's going to push-pull. And then you need a runway of blocks that can be pushed but can't be broken, which really is just ancient debris or netherite. And that's all there is to it. See? So now let's do the other side. And while we do that, we will discuss what we're going to do next. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to take you underground, and I'm going to show you how to do the digging out so that there's not any problems, not any surprises that are going to trip you up. Because there's a couple places where blocks can grab, and if that happens to you, you're going to have a bad time. You might have your TNT. If it stops and you don't know why, it's always safe to come over here and break the TNT. That's something you should know. Because if you try and cause it to move and then it doesn't go, and you try it again and it gets stuck, if it ends up igniting the TNT in a bad state and doesn't launch it forward, then you could lose the whole thing, and we don't want that. That's in survival, and I've had it happen. That's very painful. And so that's all you have to do. So we're going to show you where we put those. I'm going to show you one other issue that can happen, which is it's possible that you don't remove enough. What am I looking for? It's possible that you don't move enough blocks out of the way, and that can cause a really bad problem, and you can lose some of your machine. So once you've done this, and I will test it to show that it works, you do need to have 3-inch debris, and the reason for that is if it sometimes when it falls off of here, it's going to land on the stone here, and it will reach over and it'll bust these blocks. You don't want it to do that. And so in order for it to not break any of your machine at any point, you need to have 3 of these. The good news is once you've acquired enough to make a basic mining board in the nether, you can actually use a mining board in the nether if you want, down near YS15. So what I want to show you is that if you have the wall here and it can't move forward, you're going to have issues because it's not going to be able to move, and so it's not going to be able to move far enough, and so when it triggers, that might be fine, but it might break blocks. Sometimes it doesn't do it. Apparently we're in the clear at this point, which is fine. So I'm going to fix this by triggering that one, and then I'm going to move it. And see, that's a good way to fix it. So let's go underground now, and I'll show you some of those pitfalls. So the last thing, and I've got night vision so that's easy to see, is you're going to need to watch out for blocks that are here. You don't want to have any blocks that are here, and you don't want to have any blocks that are essentially 1 block gap around it. So if you had, let's say it didn't break all of these, or worse, I've had this happen where I wasn't paying attention. Some gravel fell from up here. and did this to you, that's going to stop it short and blow up your machine. You're not going to be happy when that happens. See that? And now we're going to lose a bunch of stuff. See, we even lost this piece right here. And so make sure, and I'll fix it in front of you to show that it's not that bad of a fix. But make sure that there's nothing on top of this. You want to have a 3-block gap, so you don't want to have anything here, or here, or here, preferably. One of the things that you have to deal with is the fact that the TNT is not going to slide straight down it. It might slide it crooked, so be careful. Don't assume that this is safe, because it might just go, oh, I got hit. I guess I'm going to destroy everything. TNT is very fickle, and so that's the safest way to do it. So I'm going to break this, and you'll see that that is all it takes to fix it. See? And now, normally I would get rid of that. Normally I would mine that diamonds. You don't want to blow it up with your TNT because you don't get your Fortune 3 on it. And so that's it. Just make sure that you also, I'll show you one last thing. Make sure that when you're digging this out, that you don't have blocks that are scattered low here that you didn't mine out, because the TNT is not going to reach back over here. So as you're digging out the initial space, you just need a little bit of room around the sides of this. But whatever is in front of this that the TNT doesn't get, it'll be fine right here. It can touch those redstone blocks. We don't have any problem with there being blocks up here. You just don't want to have any blocks down at this level, in between it, and you want to make sure there's none on the sides. And that should be good. It takes a little bit of digging out to get set up. You'll be surprised. It takes more effort than you would think to actually make the room to build one. But just start building it and dig out as you go. Don't try and spend a whole bunch of effort trying to dig out a whole region. Just dig what room you need until you're done. And let the TNT start to take care of the rest, because it gets much easier once it starts working. Alright, that's it. Subscribe if you haven't. If you really like this video, I might actually do an even more advanced one that takes out a whole chunk that's bigger. And so if you like this video, be sure to leave a comment and share it with your friends. And if we get traffic on it, I'll make some more mining bores. I'll make cooler ones. I'll make bigger ones. I might even make a fully automatic one. We'll see. And have a good rest of your day. Bye.